You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello, welcome to the podcast. It's so good to have you here, whether you are a first-time listener or a regular listener. I'm going to be talking to you today about how you can prepare for a method acting class so you can get the absolute best out of it and start advancing your acting skills and mastering your craft so much quicker. Before I do, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you'll probably know we've got applications open for our spring 10-week method acting module, which begins on Wednesday, the 16th of April, and that covers the animal exercise, which is an incredible set of method acting techniques that have landed actors, A-list actors, multiple award nominations. They've won multiple awards. It really does make you stand out. It's such an incredible exercise because it makes you think outside the box with your characters, so you are not doing the same thing that every other actor does, which essentially just gets you overlooked. It makes you stand out. It helps you get cast at more auditions. And I really recommend you training on this module and applying for it if you have made it a goal to get more acting work. And if you do want to be immersing deeper into the character and really embodying them, and creating a body of work as an artist that you are super proud of. So to apply for a place on the Spring 10-week Method Acting module, you just need to go to the link bit.ly/the standby method, or simply click the link underneath where you've pressed play. And just to round this off, the training is online. It's highly practical. You can be from anywhere in the world, and please don't be put off by thinking, I'm really new to this. It's probably too advanced for me. No, method acting is very accessible for all levels, whatever stage of your career you're at. So let's dive into how you can prep for a method acting class then, your first ever method acting class. A lot of actors are a mix of nerves and excitement for the first method acting class, which is completely understandable. You may or may not have heard of Al Pacino. Al Pacino is an American-Italian actor who's had a career that's spanned over 6 decades, and he has won countless Oscars, Golden Globes, Emmys. And I had the absolute fortune, I was so lucky to be able to go to a Q&A that he did. And it was so interesting because he spoke about how he first got into acting, his method acting training, and then all about his career. And he shared about his first method acting class. And surprisingly, and I was very, very surprised to hear this, he sat at the back of the room for not 1, 2 or 3, but multiple classes until he got the confidence to get up and share a scene. So if you feel nervous about your first method acting class, I want to reassure you that even those actors who have had countless lead roles and who are globally recognised and no longer need to audition have all started off in this way. I've seen this happen many times, and in the early days of the 10-week method acting modules, I used to see actors also just kind of shrinking away and hiding. So I was a bit sneaky and I changed the way the classes work because I didn't want anyone wasting money, sitting at the back of the class, hiding away, not getting involved, not doing anything. Because yes, you learn from watching, but you also need to get involved and immerse yourself in the experience and do, because that's where the real learning takes place. It's where the real developments happen. So what I did is I changed the first class of the 10-week method acting modules to only be about the methods chair relaxation. And we go through it in such depth with a fine-tooth comb that it literally takes 3 hours to teach, and everybody has to do it. And they all do it at the same time, so nobody feels like they're getting left behind. Nobody feels like they're standing out, like we're all doing it at the same time on the same level. And what I started to notice is that because we were all doing it at the same time, it got rid of that fear of embarrassing ourselves or doing something silly, which is a massive fear that so many actors have. And then what started to happen is I noticed everybody getting really excited for the next class, and nobody was hiding away because they were absolutely mind blown just by that one exercise and what they'd achieved in it. And that got me really excited as a coach because I was like, wow, wait until they get their hands on all the other exercises. I've already kind of touched on this, but I know that a lot of what holds actors back is the fear of the unknown. And that's really why I'm recording this episode, because I want you to know, especially if you're considering applying for our training, you're not going to make a fool of yourself. You are not going to make yourself look silly or stupid. So there's a few ways you can prepare for a method acting class. There's practical ways you can prepare, there's the emotional, and there's all sorts of other ways. But on an emotional level, I would say the best way to prepare yourself is to go in with an I'm going to try everything and throw myself into everything attitude. When I went to the actor studio in New York many years ago, I was also really nervous because the actor studio is this world-renowned studio, and I was like, oh my good Lord. I'd already started imagining in my head the caliber of actor that was going to be there, and I was already putting them on a pedestal above me, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, they're going to be incredible. They're going to be so good and so intense, and they're going to have so much skill. And honestly, it's the stories we tell ourselves that make us scared, and the story is always far worse than the actual reality. But someone said the same thing to me that I've just said to you. They said, seize this opportunity. The actor's studio is incredible. Make sure you throw yourself into everything. You put your hand up first to do everything, and you volunteer for everything. And I was like, okay, it is a bit scary, but I'm going to bloody well do it and make the most of this opportunity. And I can tell you now, I do not regret throwing myself into everything. I had the best experience ever there and learned so much and experienced so much growth as an actor just because I threw myself into everything despite being scared. Now, on a practical level, there's things you can do as well. You need to read everything. Read your emails a good number of times to make sure you are bringing everything to the class that is asked of you. This automatically makes you feel confident because you feel prepared. Now, I know that might sound silly, like read your emails thoroughly, but I can't tell you how many actors don't do that. And this is good practice for when it comes to reading castings, because I can't tell you again how many actors are not reading castings thoroughly and properly. So, for example, in our classes, in the 10-week method acting modules, it is super important that you are wearing all black to our classes. No hot pants, no revealing clothes, which are, quite frankly, impractical and not appropriate. But you wouldn't believe in the early days the number of actors who would turn up to class in the wrong attire, in inappropriate attire. When you read things properly, you can't get things wrong. And as I've already said, you're also training yourself to read castings and emails from casting directors properly. So you are always showing up as a true professional, even if you've only been at this for a really short time. And I know it's really obvious, but these little things make all the difference. The next point, which I personally don't think is spoken about enough, is to make sure you've had enough food to sustain you through that first class and then all consequential classes. And make sure you've brought water to stay hydrated, because not eating leads to poor concentration. You can't take everything in if you're hungry, and I do not recommend eating sugary foods like chocolate or carby foods like crisps, as you are literally increasing the likelihood of sugar crashes. That's not going to help you concentrate. Something like bananas with almond butter, if you're able to eat that and you don't have allergies, they have all of the carbs and the proteins and the fats in them to sustain your concentration. I can't tell you the number of students that would rock up to our classes on the 10-week method acting module and be complaining of being hungry after the first hour after doing relaxation. Our classes are 3.5 hours long. So you need to make sure you can concentrate for that amount of time, and getting the correct food in is a really good way to do this. But what this also teaches you is to make sure you are adequately fueling yourself for long days on sets. Our training is all about prepping you thoroughly for the industry. You can have 12-hour, 14-hour days on set. You need to be eating proper food with good nutrition, because those days can feel exhausting. And a lot of the time you're sat around. You should always come to classes armed with something to take notes on and something to write with. And literally, do not be afraid of taking notes mid-class. It's so important because it's so easy to forget things. I still have notes from when I went to the actor studio when I trained in method acting, and I still refer back to them from time to time because although I teach this multiple times a week, it is so good to look back through those notes because it offers a boost of inspiration, and it also brings those feel-good feelings back from when you were training, when you've had such a good class. So these are really simple ways to prepare for your first method acting class, or any method acting class, to be honest. Very, very simple. You're more than capable of doing them, but they will make such a big difference in you having such an incredible class and developing at a quicker pace. So I hope you found this useful. What is the first thing you're going to put into practice? Come over either into our Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, or come and jump into the DMs on Instagram, which is at Standby Method Acting Studio, and let me know which of these you're going to put into practice first. And once again, I just want to remind you that applications are open for the next 2 weeks for the Spring 2025 10-week method acting module, which covers the animal exercise. So to apply for that, all you need to do is go to bit.ly/the standby method, or click the link underneath where you've pressed play. I can help you accelerate your skills as an actor, and I can help you get into your first or next paid acting job sooner, and I'd love to do that. I really want to coach you. So please do go and click that link, have a look at the application form, and have a read up. I'll see you again soon. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on social, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.